Hey everyone, Kano here with Kano Jr. and we got a little bit something different for you today. Instead of showing off some pops that we picked up or completed collections or doing an unboxing, we're gonna name off some pops that we want them to make. And this whole list is what?
Star Wars.
Star Wars pops. Star Wars is one of my absolute favorite movies, and Kano Jr.'s as well. And I stayed away from trying to get into this, which was probably a mistake because I missed out on a bunch of them. But we got an F box about last year, and we ended up getting a Jabba one, which was my first one. And my original grail back in the day was the blue box Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, which while out at Walgreens, accidentally, I was trying to find the original Walgreens exclusive Marvel packs, and I stumbled across this. So I picked up my grail at a Walgreens, and then once they announced The Force Awakens and it started to come out, I really went full into it, and I've been collecting or trying to get, pretty much focusing on the Star Wars pops ever since. And I've gotten a ton since. I'm still way behind. Some of these are so expensive to pick up, which I missed out on, which kind of stinks. But who knows? Maybe at some point I'll get them, but some of these are just way too expensive, too rich for our blood. But anyways, so we came up with this list. We have 5 different categories. And we're going to, there's 10 in each. One actually has 2 bonus ones, but we're going to go through them and things that we think they should make. And just a disclaimer, we know now that The Force Awakens pops, the third wave is on its way, and they've announced it, but we came up with this list before that happened. So some of them are on here, which we are kind of cool about. Some they didn't make, but that's okay. And also, just another disclaimer, with some of these pops, you might get a spoiler or two. So if you haven't seen any of these movies, I'm sorry, but here it goes. All right, first one we're going to do is the Rebels cartoon, and number 10.
Agent Callus.
Now, if you haven't seen Agent Callus is who?
Basically like the villain in the that leads all of the stormtroopers to attack.
Right, he's kind of like one of the generals, who's in charge of, he's underneath like Vader and
the Inquisitor.
Yeah, so he goes out but he's one of the main bad guys in there. All right, so that's number 10. Number 9, Captain Rex. Captain Rex moves over to Rebels from the Clone Wars. He wasn't in the first season. What season are we on? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
But they reintroduced him. He's a little bit older, a little bit bigger, but
still bold.
Since they haven't really done anything with the Clone Wars, and I don't know if they will, we figured we'd just include him in this Rebels pack. And so that's number 9. We'd really like to see Captain Rex. Number 8.
The Inquisitor.
The Inquisitor. Which one?
The first one.
The original. Yes, the original. In the first season, the Inquisitor, really cool. He's got this wicked lightsaber.
Yeah, spins and you can throw it and it comes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I guess he was killed.
Yeah, he got pushed into an explosion.
At the end, we don't know. You never know anymore if anyone's actually dead or not. But as of now, he isn't there, and they've got 2 different Inquisitors that are there. They're still cool themselves, but you gotta go with the original. So, okay, number 7 is one of the main group, which is Zeb. He is semi-Wookiee-like, I guess. He's a big kind of...
He's a Lasat.
Is it what?
Lasat.
Well, you know this more than I do. But he's kind of the brute, the muscle of the group.
He's the one that wants to destroy all the stormtroopers.
Right, and he carries a big gun, and he's the enforcer pretty much of the group. So, number 6.
Hera.
Hera is a
pilot
of the
Rebels.
Right. What's the ship's name?
The Ghost.
The Ghost. Yeah, she's the pilot. What is she? A Twi'lek or what is she?
Twi'lek.
Yeah, something like. She's got the big long, almost, it's not hair, but it's...
They call it head tails.
Yeah, but she's pretty cool. She's green, and she's one of the best pilots, and she pilots the Rebels around. So, number 5 is Sabine. She is, I think, a Mandalorian.
She was a Mandalorian, then quit.
Yeah, she kind of left the group. She's really good with explosives. She still wears the cool
Mask.
Mandalorian helmet, kind of like Boba Fett, and she's also really good at graffiti. She likes to paint stuff, so her armor is pretty colorful and pretty cool. So number 4.
Ezra was my favorite character in it.
And who's that? Who's Ezra?
He was a kid who grew up on the streets, and then he joined the rebels.
Right, and he's got what?
A lightsaber.
No. Well, what is he? What's he learning to be?
A Jedi.
Right, and this is after Order 66, which happened in the Revenge of the Sith. This is before pretty much Luke is discovered. It's between that time, between 3 and 1 or 3 and 4. So there's not a lot of Jedi out there. In fact, might be only a few. So finding another one like Ezra is pretty big for the Jedi. So, and he's now in training. So number 3 is Chopper, and Chopper is
the freaky one.
Yeah, he's a droid, an astromech droid, like R2-D2, but he looks a little different, and he's got a bit of an attitude.
He likes zapping people.
Yeah, he's kind of funny. He has, I guess he's also pretty lazy as well. He doesn't like to do much, but he's kind of the comedian of the group, even though he really doesn't talk, which is kind of funny. But
he just beeps.
Yeah, number 2.
Kanan Jarrus.
And Kanan is
the master of Ezra.
Right. He's the lone. Well, we don't know lone, but he's one of the very few Jedi that are left that survived. He must have been one of the younglings or whatever that didn't get taken out by Order 66. So he's one of the few left. He's trying to like resurrect the Jedi, and he's taken on Ezra to train him. And finally, the last one in our Rebels group, and this is huge, this has to be done, is Ahsoka. And Ahsoka again comes from the Clone Wars. She left the Jedi as I'm not exactly, I can't remember why she left.
I think
but
she was like accused for something.
No, there was a lot of stuff happening. She didn't like the way some things were going, and she decided to just leave, and which is why I think she wasn't part of why she wasn't killed, because she's not really technically part of a Jedi anymore, but she still has Force training and all that stuff, and she still I think she still has her lightsabers, right?
Yeah.
So, but she's back now in Rebels. She's only in a handful of episodes. She's not part of the main cast, but she's in it a bunch now, which is cool. She was one of my favorite characters.
I don't think she still has like her lightsabers. I think she got a new one because they're like whiter than her old ones that were.
Well, either way, she's back, and I'm kind of hoping that she stays, and they need to make her a pop. It's obvious. So, all right, because they've already that's the Rebels category, and because they've already announced the next wave of Force Awakens, we're gonna start with that. Which one do you want to start with? 10 or?
I'll go with 10.
All right.
What PZ4C0?
CO, yeah. This is the blue. If you've seen the movie, it's the blue.
Resistant droid.
Yeah, you can see him kind of walking around in the background. Because they made so many of these already, there's not a lot of main characters, so we tried to pick something that. But this one I think is in it more, and they actually in the next wave have a droid coming out, which is in Maz Kanata's cantina there. I thought was in it a lot less than this one, so I don't know how they make their decisions, but this is the one we went with. Thought it would have been pretty cool, but I mean, I'm okay with either one. It's fine. So that's 10. Number 9 is Lor San Tekka, which is the older guy in the beginning that Poe goes to get the chip that starts this whole thing. He is, again, spoilers, murdered by Kylo Ren, but he's got some type of background that we don't know about yet, and it'd be kind of cool to flesh that out. But he's obviously somewhat part of this, and having a pop of him would be kind of cool. So, number 8.
The next one is Tasu Leech.
And that's
the guy who is on Solo's ship when that Raptor gets out.
Right. He's part of Kanji Club, right?
Concha Club.
Kanji Club. He's one of I think the leader of Kanji Club, and so okay, that's that one. Number 7 is actually being made. So this one is one that we picked that's getting made. The Guavian Death Gang member. It's the one with the red head.
With the big dot.
With like a little dot in the face, and I think it looks really cool. They didn't do a ton. Obviously, you don't see much that's happening when they're all getting eaten, but he looked really cool, and they are making one of these, so that's one we picked that they're making. So, number 6.
Snoke.
Who's Snoke?
He's like the master of Kylo Ren.
Right. He's the new emperor, I guess you could say. He's kind of taken over. He's trying to rebuild, I guess, what was the Empire and now is considered the First Order. And he's using Kylo Ren as his Darth Vader. But Snoke technically, I guess, wasn't in this one a lot. He's
Like not as much as Kylo Ren.
a big what those things called? Him himself is not in it. He's just a hologram, and he's really big in this. So I don't know even how they would do it.
I don't know if he's like big or small, or you don't know if he's like that big.
I don't think he's that big. I just think it's. But all right, well that's that one. I can see why they're not making him. I have a feeling he'll be a bigger part of the next 2 movies. So that'd be a good time to wait. Number 5 is R2KT, and this is a special one. It's a pink droid that looks like it's an R2D2. Looks like R2D2, but it's pink. You can see it a couple times in the movie, just in the background. But the main reason for this is I'm not sure 100% on all the details, but a father made this for his daughter who was dying of cancer, I believe, and they made this droid for her, and it's made its way into a few things, which is kind of cool. It was in I think the Clone Wars and a few other things, and now it's made it into this movie. But I think if they made this and put it to where if anybody who bought this, the money would go towards cancer research, I think that'd be amazing. So, and I would definitely pick one up. I think it's really cool. I like all the R2 different types. I got 3 or 4 of them right now. So getting that one would be just another one, which would be cool, and to help cancer research at the would be amazing. So, but all right, that's number 5. Number 4.
Snap Wexley.
Yeah, you know who that is?
No.
You don't remember him? Snap Wexley's the big X-wing guy. The bigger guy. He's like one of the X-wing pilots. Not Nub or Poe, but the other guy. And guess what? They're making this one, so he's another one that we're getting. We picked out, so that's kind of cool. He's played by Greg Grumberg, who's actually in almost anything that J.J. Abrams done. He's like apparently his good luck charm, and he does. If he has to be in something in even a bit part, but he's got a pretty decent role in this one, and I guess in some of the books he's got a bigger character. More depth is fleshed out, so eventually I'd like to read those. But all right, that's Snap. Number 3 is Hux. I mean, to wait till the 3rd wave for one of the main characters is kind of weird, but they haven't made one yet. I guess probably because it's kind of just a boring pop, but he's a main character, just like Kylo Ren, or not as prominent, but you gotta have General Hux. So.
And he's also Bill Weasley in Harry Potter, right?
Right. Yes. Number 2.
Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata is
the person Han goes to get BB-8 to the Resistance.
Right, and she's this little character who's about thousands of years old or whatever. She's been around for a long time, and she's pretty funny and pretty wise, I would say. So.
She knows how to do
That's
that.
number 2, and they're making it. They're making her. She's coming. So that's another one we picked, and she absolutely had to be made. So, and she's on her way. So that's cool. And finally, number 1 in The Force Awakens, this is.
Who would not make this?
I know, but if you've seen the movie, I can kind of see why. But Luke,
What the heck, people?
Luke's back. somewhat, at least in this movie, but
I think
he'll
he's
have
gonna be
much
like the
more
next
of a
one.
bigger role in the next movie, possibly both. But I mean, you gotta make Luke. He's the new Obi-Wan. He's the wise old man with the beard that's probably going to be training Rey, who could be his daughter. We don't know yet. I'm on that camp. I don't know where you are at. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's The Force Awakens. I think out of the 10 we picked, 5 of them are being made. So we did pretty good. Not bad. All right. Let's go with the original series, the original 3 that came out. Let's do that one first. Which one do you want to start? You want to start or me start?
I'll start. The Cantina Band.
Yeah, and they've already made 2 of these. I put this at number 10 because I hope that I hope they're gonna make the whole band. If they just made 2 and stopped, I would be kind of irritated. But
There's still like 2 more, right?
I think there's 3 more. I think there's 5 members of the band. But I think when they started this, that they planned on doing all of them. I hope they do, because if they start and not finish it, I'd be kind of upset. But that's why I put it at 10. We want it. They haven't made it yet, but I think they will. So hopefully. Number 9 is Garandan, which I believe we thought was named Snoot.
He's that elephant guy, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that tells the Empire that Luke and them are leaving on the Falcon when they're at Mos Eisley. So I thought his name was Snoot for a long time, but I looked it up and it's actually Garandan. But he's the guy, you don't understand what he's saying. He's got the glasses, the long nose, and he tells everybody that they're heading to the Falcon to leave. So, and that's where everyone comes together. So, but that's number 9. Number 8.
Death Star Operator.
Death Star Operator. They got those big, long, black helmets. They basically are just in charge of the Death Star of, getting things set for it to, shoot. So, some of these oddball pops that they make are really cool. Like the TIE Fighter pilot. I mean, that's a really cool pop. Some of these ones that have come out that, you don't think about it, but they make them and then they look really cool. So, I think this would be one as well. Number 7, IG-88. This is one of the bounty hunters that's on the, the ship with Vader when he tells them to go get Han Solo, and he's with a bunch of them, and Boba Fett's obviously the main one. They've made Boba Fett, they've made Bosk, but they haven't made any of the other ones. And IG-88 is, he's the long one, the robot type.
Droid.
Yeah, droid.
Assassin droid.
Yeah, so that's one of them. There's actually one of the next Star Wars Smugglers bounty boxes coming out is called Bounty Hunters. So possibility that we could get 1 or 2 of those. And here, number 6 is
4-Nom.
4-Lom is another one of them. He's got kind of the C-3PO type.
He's like the protocol droid, but a bounty hunter.
Yeah, he originally was a protocol droid. He's got like a C-3PO body,
But
different
he has
type
a
of head.
huge head.
Almost looks like a scuba diver head, almost a little bit. But he turned into a bounty hunter, which is kind of cool. All right, so that's 2 of those. Number 5 is Max Rebo, and he's the cool blue elephant looking thing that plays like the piano at the.
And he doesn't even do it with his hands.
At the Jabba's palace. He's kind of. They're making a lot of Jabba's creature things that are happening there. They got the Rancor pack with Lilo that are coming. It's Leela. What's her name?
The green one?
Yeah.
Ula.
Ula. Yeah, that's right. She's coming out, and then they've already made the longer pack with Jabba and Salacious Crumb.
And
they've got Bib Fortuna. They've got the Gamorrean Guard. They've got all these characters, and now, come on, Max Rebo. At least from the original sets that came out, he's always been there. So let's go with him. Number 4.
Dengar.
Dengar is.
He's another bounty hunter that goes with IG-88 and 4-Lom.
Right. I think there was like 5 or 6 in that group, and he has more of a role in the Clone Wars. He kind of gets fleshed out a little bit more. Him and Bosk were teamed up with a younger Boba Fett, so I think he'd be ahead of the other two just because I think if you go back and see some of the Clone Wars episodes, he has more of a background.
And he has like this messed up face.
Yeah.
With a big bandana.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he looks kind of cool. Number 3 is Lobot, and Lobot is a semi-droid.
He's like a
type human.
cyborg that works for Lando in Cloud City.
He works for Lando in Cloud City. He's the guy with like robot type thing head around, and he's almost basically tied into the computer in Cloud City. He like can make things happen. So I thought he'd be kind of cool to have him. Number 2.
Grand Moff Tarkin. He's like the Hux.
He's like he's like a Hux, but he's like one of the big bad guys in the original trilogy. I mean, yeah, he was only in the 4th film, but
still
we haven't seen him yet. And I mean, he's basically in charge of Vader. Yeah, and you see him at the end of Revenge of the Sith too, but it's very very brief. But he is pretty much the main bad guy before the Emperor. You don't really see the Emperor in the 4th film. And Vader, I mean, even though he ends up being the big bad guy that you're talking about, he's still underneath these people, which is kind of... Number 1 is Wedge. Wedge was in the entire first trilogy. He's the X-Wing pilot. He's in number 4.
He's been in all the battles, basically.
He's probably an X-Wing pilot more than Luke is. And we have an X-Wing Luke, and we have a 9-nub X-Wing now. We don't have Wedge. Wedge needs to be made.
He's like the best X-Wing pilot. He's like basically like a Poe.
Yeah, I'm Poe. Yeah, he's Poe before Poe. So, all right. So that's the original. Here's the prequel. The prequel trilogy. I know people bash on it. I can see why it's not. It's not as good as these, the original trilogy, and it's definitely not as good as The Force Awakens. But I mean, it's still there. It's part of the canon, and there were a lot of great characters in the prequel trilogy. And as of right now, I think they've only made 3 or 4 pops from the prequel, which was Queen Amidala, the Clone Trooper, Jar Jar Binks, and I think there was one more.
It's a Boss Nass. Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. There we go. So, this one actually has 12 because I have 2 bonus ones. The first one is Jango Fett. Jango Fett's been made. He's only in, I think he's a game pack with Lego Star Wars 3, I think. But he has never come out by himself in a regular box. I can understand the reason not changing it because it takes away the value, but change him a little bit or something so that we can get both. It's hard to find him. I have never seen him anywhere, and display. We have one. We have a Joker. It's just so hard to display, but that's one of them. And our extra bonus is Bail Organa. I was between him and number 10 of where I was going to put him. He's a pretty big character in the prequel trilogy, and he ends up taking on Leia and raising her, and so that's kind of a big part of the whole canon in freaking or having Leia as a daughter. So number 10. Watto.
He's the owner of Anakin before he meets Qui-Gon.
Right, and he runs like this junkyard type thing where they can get the parts for their ship, and he also has Anakin and his mom as a slave, and that's how this whole thing gets started. They find Anakin. They realize that he's got some type of. He really has the Force flowing through him, really, and so they make this wager to get all the stuff, and because Watto loves to bet, he ends up losing, and that's how Anakin leaves to become a Jedi, pretty much. Number 9 is a battle droid, and this, it's kind of a cool pop. It's different. It might be kind of hard to do, just the way it looks, but the battle droids are all throughout the prequel, and they're pretty big, parts of it. So you have to think about making one.
They're basically in all of the big battles with the Jedi.
Right. So, so that's number 9. Number 8
is Sam Wassell.
Which is?
Like an alien type thing that...
She's kind of like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, she's like a bounty hunter, and she's like flying because she tried to kill Padme,
Right.
and then Jango Fett shot her real identity.
Right. So, she's not in it a lot, but she's a pretty cool character. Again, these Star Wars really introduces characters, and quickly they are not in it a lot. I mean, some of these are really cool characters that just don't get a lot of screen time.
Imagine the same Wassell. She's
right.
Right.
Number 7 is Padme, and I know they've made a Queen Amidala, but she's not Queen Amidala through most of the movies.
She's only in the Phantom Menace.
Right. And even in that one, she's Padme most of the time, and then she becomes Senator Amidala, and she's Padme pretty much throughout the rest of the trilogy. So just having her outside of her queen garb that they've made would be cool. So number 6,
Count Dooku.
Count Dooku, another one. He's in 2 of the movies as one of the main characters.
He's like in 2.5. He's not really in Revenge of the Sith. He's like in the beginning.
Right. He's pretty much the main bad guy in Attack of the Clones. So he's got a pretty big role, and they still, again, they're kind of ignoring the prequel, ignoring the prequels, which kind of stinks. But all right, number 5, General Grievous, wicked cool. I don't know how they do this.
They could make like a
I don't know if he'd have to be a 6-inch or something, because he's tall, he's a robot, he's got 4 arms that all have lightsabers. I mean, it would be a wicked cool, I think, if they could figure out how to do it. But he's also a pretty big character that is just not touched yet. So, number 4.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson. Mace Windu is one of the higher ups in the Jedi Council. Pretty powerful. He's got the only purple lightsaber, so he stands out a little bit.
He's the last Jedi to go against the Emperor, but Chancellor Palpatine before he is actually shown as the Emperor.
Right, and he ends up being killed by Anakin, which is basically the turning point for Anakin to become a Darth Vader, because he kills one of his own
friends.
And so, number 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I know they have an Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they have the older Obi-Wan Kenobi. This would be the younger one, the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he's in the original trilogy, when he's actually a part of it. I mean, he's not in the original. He's not, in it. He's a ghost pretty much. So he's in it mostly, and that's mostly Obi-Wan and Anakin story. So number 2,
Qui-Gon Jinn, who is the master of Obi-Wan, but gets killed by Darth Maul.
Right, and he's the one that ends up taking on little Anakin before he forces the council to let him come on, and then once he dies, Obi-Wan takes over as his teacher. And finally, Anakin. We don't have an Anakin Skywalker. We have Vader, but we don't have Anakin.
Anakin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd want the little kid Anakin, but
there's the second one and the third one.
I think at least the third one, maybe with the longer hair. And he's huge in the Clone Wars. Again, I know they're not touching the Clone Wars, and we're not really doing anything on the Clone Wars right now. But I mean, Anakin Skywalker. He become the first 2 trilogies are either Anakin or Darth Vader. That's what it's about, So that is our prequel. All right, this last one, we came up with some variants of characters that they've made pops for, but they haven't done, they're different ones that they could make. Because, I mean, geez, there's tons of different variants of, like, Batman and all these other ones. So, I mean, Star Wars is just as big. So, how about number 10 for you?
Darth Maul hooded.
Right, the hooded Darth Maul. That's how you see him most of the time in the movie. I mean, he finally takes off his hood when he battles Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. So, I mean, he's very menacing with the hood on, I mean, he kind of stands like with his arms folded, and he just looks. Darth Maul, I think, is just a great character that got killed off way too soon, and he got put in a movie.
Well, he didn't really die.
Well,
It's
yes,
more like
he's dead in the movies, but in the canon he's not. So there is a chance he can come back.
Because in the Clone Wars, he.
Right. So hopefully, maybe he won't. Maybe we'll see him again, but as of right now, he's not. But he is. I think he's one of the best characters in the Star Wars universe, and there's only 2 pops of him. One holographic one, and then the regular one. So. Number 9 is Rey with her lightsaber. That to me in The Force Awakens was one of the coolest moments. I like get goosebumps when it happens when she uses the Force to get the lightsaber to come flying to her. This one is getting made, so that's one that we came up with that is actually part of the next Force Awakens line. So
I think one reason why I think she is the daughter of Luke, because it was Anakin's to Luke and now it got to her.
Right, which I think so too. There's just a lot of things pointing toward that, but they could be doing that just to pull something over on us, but I don't know. Number 9.
You mean 8?
I just did. Oh, number 8, yeah. Sorry.
Princess Leia Hoth.
Right. Princess Leia. She's got a couple different variants for her right now, but they've made a Chewie Hoth, they've made a Han Hoth, they've made a Luke on Hoth. Why haven't they made Leia? They need to make a Leia on Hoth. Number 7, Han, Luke, and Leia all in their Endor gear. I mean, they're green and their camouflage gear that they're down there. Han's got the long jacket. Luke and Leia both have like the ponchos with the big helmets on. They haven't really touched any of the Endor stuff, so that would be.
The only one they basically did was like, I think the Ewok. Okay.
Yeah, Wicket. Yeah. So, all right, number 6 for you.
Lando, Death Star, and the Skip Guard version.
Right. Lando has gotten no love, and he's still not getting any love. There's one Lando pop, and it's just his Cloud City with his cape. Lando is a big part of the movies. He's
in like
he heads off to try to rescue Han after he goes into Carbonite, and he becomes the Skiff Guard. That'd be kind of cool to have. They just made the Boosh for Leia, so this would be a good way to go since they're doing a lot.
I have an idea how can they can do like a Skip Guard like with the Sarlacc pit, like when he's getting pulled in.
Oh jeez, that'd be another big one, Sarlacc pit. But anyways, and then the Death Star when he's the General Calrissian. He's leading the troops to go and blow up the second Death Star. Right, so that outfit. Okay, number 5, Obi-Wan Spirit. They did a Yoda Spirit, and I think Obi-Wan is a spirit through The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He's that more than he is just the normal human. So I think that one needs to be made. Number 4.
C-3PO Unfinished.
Right, and that's when?
In the Phantom Menace, when Anakin Skywalker is building him.
Right. Anakin takes off leaving to go become a Jedi and leaves C-3PO with his mother unfinished. He's got nothing on. He's just like this.
Wiry.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see his insides. It's kind of cool. But that's just another option. Number 3, Han Solo in Carbonite. I mean, it'd be simple. Really, you just have to make a board with like a pop face and stuff on it. So, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. Everybody loves Han Solo in Carbonite. Number 2.
Chewbacca with C-3PO.
Now this happens when?
When he gets blown up by a bunch of stormtroopers on Cloud City.
Right. And then Chewbacca has to carry him around on his back for most of the rest of the movie.
With the net.
Right. So that'd be kind of cool. We haven't really seen much of 2 pops together like that. We thought it'd be kind of interesting, which leads us to number 1, and that's Luke with Yoda. Luke is down training at Dagobah, and he has to carry Yoda on his back.
While he jumps over.
Right, through all this stuff. And I mean, that's kind of how we meet Yoda, and a pretty big part of the movie. So, I mean, I think trying to do different things. I know now they're trying to do action poses and stuff like that. This is just another thing. Combining 2 pops into one really would be, I think, another way to go, and really gets us more bang for our buck. I love when they put multiples together and you don't have to pay too much more for it or at all. We really enjoy that. So that's our list. What do you say? Anything we missed? There's obviously a ton of characters. We didn't even I know in the prequels there are more Jedi, and they just don't get fleshed out a lot in the prequels. They do in the Clone Wars. If they ever decided to do that, man, we could probably do a ton on Clone Wars characters. But we tried to include Ahsoka and Rex in the Rebels, and we did a few. And they've actually announced a couple characters, Kit Fisto and Plo Koon, who are in the prequel trilogy. They don't have a lot going on, but they are huge in the Clone Wars. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how this is going to work, but it'd be great to have some of the characters
I'd like
come
to
out.
have a Kit Fisto. He's like cool.
Right, he's really cool. I mean, they have a ton of great Jedis
That
back
I
then.
don't even touch. But
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this. I know it's really long, probably haven't even looked, but we wanted to get this out. We came up with this idea a while ago, and we didn't get a chance to do it. And they've started announcing more and more stuff, but we still wanted to do our list. Anyways, what do you think? Do you like our list? Do you think that some need to be made, some haven't been made? But let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I guess we'll see you next time. All right? See ya.
bye.